Even the Edens are probably terrifying if I gave them the time of day, but fortunately we just have enough damage output for that to not be too much of a problem or consideration here, which is fantastic. Ooh, and Chainmail, again, probably a bit too heavy of an armor set, especially at our current 14 strength. But I am sorely tempted to at least check out what it is that they do here. Beguiling and Fortitude might be a little more up our alley. I mean, is it still a spellcasting in Fortitude? If I could get like Introspection in Fortitude, ranged weapons in Fortitude, these all sound great. So Ash, if you're feeling generous, I would not mind having just such an occasion come to pass. But really can't complain too much, because again, we are doing just fine as is, and things are slowly but surely definitely starting to take shape here. We're up to 51 damage on the triple crossbow, down to an attack delay of 1.3, so that is much, much better than what we've been dealing with up until now. Sorcery and Fortitude, again, just not quite there. I get what you're going for, Ash. Again, I respect you and everything you stand for, but please, sir, could I have something a little bit more up our alley? If you could be so kind. But let us see how it goes. Of course, something we're still lacking in now is willpower. So that's probably a situation we need to rectify relatively soon here. Holy. There's just so much activity, and a +4 orc bow. Well, how about that? Let's compare this 28 damage rating compared to the 17 of a short bow. Again, if we weren't already rolling in the wealth of arms here, then I would have been more than happy to experiment a little bit on that side and see what the fuss is about on the new bows, but fortunately, we found ourselves with a good problem to have, and we're already sitting pretty on that side of things. So we shall just continue forward and for now just worry about finishing off the rest of our regularly scheduled dungeon, and then we'll potentially swap over Beguiling and Fortitude again. Stop that, Ash. Please. But enchant weapon, those can immediately get placed on our beautiful triple crossbow. If this son of a gun hits me, we're going to be in trouble. Holy moly. Probably should have thought this situation through a little bit further before just diving into it. We have a decent amount of health potions. I might also just turn myself into a tree to get some better defenses. We also attack slightly faster in this setup, so that is lovely. And let's actually just Quicksilver to hopefully finish off the fight. Wonderful. So we definitely found ourselves kind of hoisted by our own petard there, and probably should have been slightly more cognizant of what was going on. Let's not let all the slimes just freely congregate into a greater being of fear and destruction here. Would be nice. And won't be switching to that armor anytime soon. But still on the lookout for something to replace our current setup. I mean, it's hard to complain with, again, just the pure armor class coming from the Enchanted Ringmail. But if I could get some more auxiliary effects, I'd desperately like to see some willpower, some fire and cold resistance, of course. And as we've strummed on and on about here today, also some slightly better curses. Could be nice. Could be a lot of fun, Ash. Maybe, just maybe. Look at that. We are picking up heal wounds potions constantly as we continue to make our way forward. That is definitely lovely to have. As we switch positions here just to get around that cloud that assuredly does not exist anymore, but that's fine. But Kylie in ranged combat. Again, you're really trying to tell us something here, Ash. I mean, we could put it on our amulet, I guess. Again, something that is likely to be swapped off relatively soon here, but for the time being, we're not using any magic, so happy to have that extra cushion on our health pool coming from our magic points. So let's just do it. Let's take this as a bit of a argument of good faith. We'll throw it on the Guardian Amulet here. And, okay, this time around, let's be slightly better. Specifically, even just being in an open area means that they're more likely to split upon taking damage, so that alone gives us much more recourse in being able to successfully deal with those sons of guns. Sir, if we could please stop clouding our mind here, that would be lovely. Thank you. And our vault entrance, of course, looking to be somewhere down this direction. We will definitely at the very least head up to our stairwell so that if this starts to cascade out of control, which already looking to be the case, we can immediately just pop out of there and put ourselves into a slightly more defensively minded position. That's wonderful. And that will hopefully be the most thinking we have to do as we continue to clear out just the last little bit of the dungeon here. This is definitely going now a little bit more how I imagined. Just find ourselves in this powerful position. I was hoping we could make it through. Ah, Rupert. You are a problem, my friend. At least we're immune to paralyze and confuse. So actually, not as much of a problem as you might otherwise have been for us here. But you still hit like a truck, and I do not wish to fight you at the moment. At peak of physical perfection. It's a bit more than I am currently feeling ready to deal with. In fact, what we can do is just leave. We don't have to clear out D15, so this could be a decent opportunity to just shift gears and probably hit the swamp. Spider is going to be interesting in its own right. We're not especially well suited for it. We have very, very good single target damage, but our AoE is definitely lacking at the moment. At the very least, it might warrant a changeover to our arbalist so that we're not attacking so slowly, because again, all those sons of guns are going to be super quick. And so having a slower than attack per turn weapon does potentially lead to some less than ideal outcomes, but we'll see what kind of tools have been added to our box by the time we have to make our way down that direction, because again, swamp should be pretty much up our alley completely here. Definitely ignore Staff of Earth, fantastic. And gosh damn it, Francis. What do I do with you? Throw icicles is a pain. Abjuration. I mean, we've already used all our summoning scrolls, so joke's on you, Francis. Get rolled. You have 43% chance to hit me. Currently have no chance of evading our triple crossbow, but that's because you are actively sleeping. And I'm more concerned with that swamp worm bringing us into a close ranged combat situation that we don't wish to engage with here. Let's see. I mean, our damage output is ridiculous, so we probably can kill Francis, but I have concerns for sure. There we go. I was mostly just trying to get rid of your haste, but a kill I will gladly take. AK man, cool character. I agree. We've gone pretty stupidly lucky in the setup here. Already having a triple crossbow has been wild. Ooh, I have no fire resistance. That is a problem. I do technically if I swap over to the staff, but that's not really an option here for us. So I think I will use the Potion of Resistance. And then need to hack away. Oof. Probably should have slowed down slightly earlier than this. We're already in a rough spot, but let us take a moment to breathe. 65% chance to hit you with a net, my friend. Could just start chugging heal wounds, of course. That's an option here. Unfortunately, I've already let it go slightly further than I should have, so shafting ourselves, not really an option. Takes a little bit to activate, and on top of that, it will drop us into who knows what. So we need to be in at least a position where we are ready to deal with any shenanigans on that side. But at the very least, can drink that one heal wounds, can maybe go for a might, and then I guess a fear scroll at least gets rid of the bunyip, not the will-o-the-wisp, who we should just try and deal with here while we have that resistance potion going. So I think I am gonna fear. What are the odds of that? Let me double check, because I thought bunyip was a fairly good chance. Yeah, 79% chance of fearing you off, and unfortunately we failed it. So let's try that one more time. And then you have to die. Beautiful. If you could follow suit, my friend, please, and thank you. Oh, geez. We are chugging through these heal wounds potions, and the bunyip is back. Oh no. Probably should have used the slight window there to bring in some kind of protection from the various outcomes here. Of course, not being able to teleport regardless makes this a bit of a nasty situation. So what can I do? I can turn myself into a tree, and that gets us a little more armor class, which does potentially become our saving grace there. This son of a gun still hits like a truck. But you know what? I don't think we're getting out of here. So I'm going to turn myself into an invisible tree, drink some healing, and then we're going to try our very best to just murder you sons of guns. Ooh-wee. Much, much closer than I'd like, especially after all of our big talk about how well this run is going so far. In fact, you, my friend, I mean, Splinter Spray strongly reduced by armor class. I don't know what that means in terms of what your max hit is actually looking like at our current 16 health. I think I will drink a heal wounds just because dying now would be very unfortunate. And then we can do some unavoidable damage on you, my friend. And you know, we're seeing a lot of flashes of enemies, so I think we should just back it on up. In fact, let's put ourselves into this corner and finally get a chance to breathe. Holy moly. Well, this has been a nice little reality check, knocking us out of our hubristic paradigm at the very least. So, can't be too upset about that, and hopefully the rest of Swamp goes a little smoother for us. As long as we have good sightlines on enemies, we should be able to kill them before they put us into a similar situation. But I guess only time will tell. And so for the time being here, we're just gonna continue brute forcing ahead and just not worry about it. It was, of course, just a fluke and will never happen again. We're now going to find ourselves in a perfect spot. And you know, a curse that actually is beneficial on both sides, getting all of our defensive skills sorted in one upgrade here. I mean, that sounds pretty lovely to me. So, where should this go? I mean, our boots, fairly unlikely to go. We could put it onto the ring, seeing as how this ring is just wildly strong in the first place. You know, I don't hate that. The other option is our ring mail, because I'd like to, again, keep our weapon slot open for now. Who knows what we'll find? Especially if we do want to swap over to something that attacks a little bit faster for, like, Spider or what have you. So for now, let's put this son of a gun. Let's put it onto this ring. Does mean we've locked in both of our ring slots, but I'm likely to be changing out this one pretty soon here. And in fact, now could very possibly be the moment to do so. We are protected from malevolent forces, but that shouldn't be the end of the world. So let us get rid of our evasion ring here. The Dex ring will do better temporarily for damage, and we can maybe leave that a bit more open so that we have the ability to swap into different resistances. Actually, yeah, that Foxfire, I probably should have been slightly more alert for them coming up, because we currently don't have any of that fire resistance, and so that adds up real fast. Of course, talking about their damage output there. When we finally start the replenishment process for the heal wounds that we just churned through. Churned and burned. But there we go. That is much better. Let's double check. We're at 1.1 attack delay now with the triple crossbow, so things are looking a hell of a lot better on that front. It is slowed by our armor, and we're getting pretty dang close to the appropriate skill levels. That probably means we either need some more strength or to train more armor skill. I don't know if we'll ever get to the point of being able to wear the ring mail with 0 problems, but for a little bit of a slowdown on our attack, it is probably worth the additional armor class that is bringing to us here. Ooh, and hello, my ghostly crab friend. I don't mind fighting you a little bit here, because when things don't go our way, we just leave. Fantastic. And let's take another peek. Did have some other enemies coming along in the background, but I'm hoping that our crab friend comes next to us. Or not. Dying is also an acceptable option. Hello there, my constricting friend. You are slightly terrifying. Oh my gosh. What is going on with this Swamp 3? Oh, and you dragged us off of a stairwell. That is not great. Not grand by any stretch of the imagination. Alligator friends pulling us every which way. Holy moly. Okay, I have to kill you immediately. Slightly terrifying, but not the end of our life quite yet. So, yes, hats off to that. And looks like we're gonna have to just fight you, my friend. At least we've taken care of all the other auxiliary enemies, so that makes the tentacled monstrosity a little bit more manageable. And so, very happy to finish off a Zot level enemy already here in Swamp. I mean, it is a pretty common occurrence in Swamp, to be fair. Okie dokie, what should we change our training to? I mean, could probably do with a little bit more Evo. I actually don't hate that. So I think I will turn you back up here, and let's turn armor back on as well as fighting. Just a nice little sprinkling across the board, a sampling, if you will, of all the skills that will be advantageous to us moving forward. And we're already down to Swamp 4, eh? Oh my gosh. Okay, I was gonna say already some more artifact boots. Not too powerful at the end of the day here, so I'm not rushing to switch into those, especially since we don't have low enough intelligence that we have to worry about stat death or anything like that. So for the moment here, let's just keep on keeping on. Holy moly. So we currently are dealing with all of our new friends without too much of an issue. Those swamp worms can very quickly change that case. And let's make sure we're focused on the summoner, not the summons there, please, game. Appreciate it. And okie dokie. Not too shabby. Could look at switching into one of these dragon scales, I guess. AC remains fairly consistent and could actually enchant the son of a gun up. So I guess what's important for us to keep in mind is that the big plus of this is just the AC. So if we can find anything that's even remotely competitive there, it's probably worth endeavoring to change it up. I mean, the Swamp Dragon scales, it's close. If we didn't already have the poison resistance, then I'd probably be jumping at the opportunity. As is, it'd be nice, but not at all necessary, I guess, is what it boils down to. Okie dokie, and let us unfortunately back ourselves into a corner, but having that little bit of positive energy on our boots coming in clutch there, and definitely a lifesaver as we get through that encounter. And now I'm curious, are we gonna have Lerny again? I don't know if we are capable, really, of dealing with the Lyran Hydra, so I would hope not. Whoo-wee. Jeez Louise. Again, taking more damage than I'd like. We could potentially turn ourselves into a tree again. Oh, we have Shambling Mangrove as well. This is a bad situation. Oof. Should have been slightly more cautious in how we took on this encounter, which I know is very quickly becoming the refrain of the evening here. At a certain point, I likely just have to take some amount of responsibility myself, but I think we're going to turn into a tree, hope that that health and AC gets us through one turn, and it does. And then for the rest of you kiddos, let us take a look. If I can bring one of you to my side, 45% chance on each. You have a lot of attacks, so probably actually probably both of you. What am I talking about? Let's not be too silly about this, shall we? Bit more damage than I'd like. We definitely need to take care of you. Oh, that's even with our electricity resistance. That Spriggan son of a gun is causing us some problems. We've also used up all of our heal wounds potions, so yikes. If only we had some more general purpose evocables. But such is life, so I guess all there is to do is try to murder you. You repel missiles, so let's not waste our turns trying to deal with you in the conventional way. Instead, just blast you a couple of times. In fact, yeah, no real chance I blow your mind, and now you're in a rough position for me, friend. Do not appreciate it. I don't really have anything that will just purge enemies around us. If only we were worshipping the Shining One, and then Cleansing Fire would definitely be a pretty decent option for us here. Is there any out here besides just getting lucky? I mean, we could chug Curing for little bits of health. We could try it for one turn. A Shambling Mangrove comes into view. Oh no. Well, this is likely the end. Potentially, what we should have done earlier in that fight was a Scroll of Poison, so that at least the Spriggans coming in would have been kind of taking care of themselves, as it were. I mean, can Ambrosia, Curing. Oh me oh my, now we're just burning up time while waiting for the end to come. And it is taking a surprisingly long time. Again, if we just get lucky, it's not the end of the world. 76% chance to hit. I mean, sure, that is, by most regards, basically a guarantee, but there's some chance that everything just slides off of us here. Wouldn't that be lovely? 1% chance to bring you over to our side. Well, 61% chance to hit you. I think we just have to try and kill you. And we've got to be dead here, right? Not yet. Okay, now we start chugging. Curing. Oh, no. Oh, and we do get taken down here. Again, I probably could have been slightly more careful at our approach. The attack we took around this corner here. I wasn't quite in a present state of mind enough to have good insight as to what went wrong. I believe we might have been grappled by a swamp worm. Regardless, that very quickly cascaded into a situation we were unable to deal with, unfortunately. And that does then beg the question here. Do we start off another run? Or do I call it here? Again, this is going to be a short stream as we finish off the weekend and try and get a few more things done. But the question is whether I want to burn through the early game on a character, because after this, it's either another ranged character in a similar capacity, maybe switch over to Brockie, or try and give this Formicid a good old college try once again here, or Deep Elf Mage of some kind is our other option. Which, I mean, if you were here for the Great Player series back in the day, you know that the Deep Elf is probably going to take a couple of attempts through the early stages of the dungeon, because that's one of the few player characters that is quite oftenly killed off by the very first monster you come across. So we'll see how all that goes. Kind of curious how long our score list is these days. Kind of lost track of just how many characters do we play over the course of all these series. It's an interesting conundrum here, but let's see. Maybe I'll cover up the fact that I'm indecisive as I'll get up and struggling to come up with a decision by instead just taking a sip from my drink, really mulling it over here.